Hello everyone, welcome back to Edible Abundance Homestead. I'm Ginger and today is June 27th. I have kids in the pool, which is why you hear this screaming and shouting in the background. But I wanted to show you a few fun little things that are happening in the garden. Down at this end, I usually have been doing most of my updates down at the other end of the garden. But down here, I'm standing in the middle of my melon patch. But you know, melons are kind of slow growing. The tomatoes are just growing. They're producing tomatoes. They are not harvestable yet. Everything is still green and not ready to pick. But there's just a few little things down here I want to show you. I'm going to start with the melons. So along over this side, we have cantaloupe. And on this side, we have watermelons. So I was kind of feeling like we weren't producing many melons. They were just producing foliage. But melons are so tiny and they're so hard to find when they're little because it's hard to walk around in here without damaging something. But anyway, so let's get down here and I was going to show you, look at that cantaloupe. There are a couple in here about this size. There's quite a few smaller ones too when you really dig around. But I'm super excited about that. And then over here in the watermelon section, we have 1, 2 in here, which is hard to see. I think there's about 5 of these these are sugar baby watermelons, they're called. Getting pretty good size on them. We planted, sorry, I'm trying to step over the vines. We planted 2 varieties of watermelon this year. We did the sugar babies and we did the orange glow from Baker's Creek. And I was seeing over here, this is the first row of my tomatoes. And I was noticing in here, so the watermelon vines have gone through the tomato trellis, and in places they even started to climb it. And I actually kind of encouraged that. I was thinking maybe that'd be a good way to get a bit more production out of them without sacrificing too much space. But they're kind of not here so much, but over here, they're kind of climbing out of control. So I don't know, maybe it wasn't such a good idea. Or maybe I just need to let the vine get a certain length and then just cut the end off and call that it. And hopefully it can ripen a few fruit with what's there. But anyway, down in here I was noticing, oh, all you see is a leaf here. The camera around. Look at that little watermelon. I think this is one of the orange glow. They don't seem to be growing quite as quickly, but that's okay. They are, I believe, a bigger melon than the sugar babies, so they might just take a little bit longer to get going, which is fine. Having one variety harvestable earlier than another is great. That'll prolong the harvest. So now that I'm in here amongst the tomatoes, as you can see, we're starting to overgrow my cattle panels. I just went through and tied all these up and did some pruning. I'm actually noticing, I think I need to go along and check down low. I'm noticing some leaves touching the ground. I'm noticing some leaves that don't look so great that I probably need to go ahead and cut back. But tons of tomatoes out here, not ripening. I do have a couple that have ripened, but they were starts that I bought from my friend who has a greenhouse. So they don't count because they aren't mine because I didn't start them from seed. But hers were, the greenhouse ones were, quite a bit ahead of mine. But here we have, see, look at all those lovely Roma tomatoes on there. Just clusters of them. This is one of the ones I think I accidentally topped. It doesn't seem to be growing much taller. And then over here we have these Amish paste tomatoes. They are huge. I hope they're really pasty because they sure do look big for a paste tomato, but I've never grown them before, so we'll see. I'm gonna go down this way and we'll walk along over here. So here I have some okra. 2 here, 2 there, and 4 there. I have been harvesting 1 or 2 of the red okras. Just every couple of days there'll be 1 or 2 ready. My daughter just eats them raw, and that's awesome because they're definitely not, oh, I see one that's ready down there. They're definitely not enough to cook. You know, they're not enough for a part of our meal, but it's great that they're not getting wasted. So this down here, these are more of the Amish paste. And again, these guys, like I said, I'm curious to see what they look like on the inside because some of these are just massive. I'm so used to Romas, and so I guess maybe I just don't have the right mindset for the way this particular variety grows. Sorry, I'm like maneuvering my way around tomatoes here. So this one is, gosh, I can't remember what this one is. This one is from, was it Free Seed from Baker's Creek? I have it written down. Gosh, I'm blanking out what it is. It's a variegated one. I don't think it's Painted Lady, but it's something like that. I'm just weeding as I talk to you. And it's doing okay. I'm getting a lot of splits and some of the fruit. Some of it looks pretty good. And then here we have, I thought I would have one of these ready by now. Let's see if I can pull this open down in here. These are the blueberry cherry tomatoes, and some of these have been here on this plant. Look at that awesome cluster right there. Some of these have been on this plant for so long, I thought for sure they would have ripened by now, and they just aren't. So I had mentioned that it felt like the cucumbers were a little slow coming on. I guess everything's just a little slow. I mean, you know, I feel like I should be getting cherry tomatoes by now, but that's all right. I have 3 of these planted. Actually, no, I have 4 of these planted. It's gonna be a lot of cherry tomatoes. Anyway, and then here in my first row, I have my Dr. Wykes, which I was a little worried about at first. They kind of weren't setting much fruit, but I'm starting to feel better. There are some jumbos out here for sure. Actually, it looks like a couple of these. I tied up this row first and worked my way down, and so it's been a couple days, and it almost looks like these are ready to be tied up some more. But anyway, I have some nice big tomatoes here. I could have sworn there was one that was particularly massive, but I'm not seeing it now. A little help in the pollination department, thank you. I also have planted in here basil. This is just Genevieve's basil, which I've dried a batch of it. I probably need to go through and cut it back and dry another batch and maybe make some pesto. And then I have that cinnamon basil down that way. I made cookies with the cinnamon basil, and they're pretty delicious. It's a different flavor. I should post the recipe link down below. I'll try to remember to do that because they were good. 2 of my kids liked them. One was kind of like, it's a cookie, so I like a cookie, but I don't think it was her favorite. But anyway, I've got more recipes to play around with the cinnamon basil, since that's fun and totally different. Over here we have eggplants, looking pretty good, getting big. Not putting on a lot of flowers. I see 1 or 2, but not a lot of flowers. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's okay. Same peppers. The plants are looking okay. We still have peppers frozen from last year because we produced so many peppers last year. I'm not super worried if we don't get a ton of peppers this year. So we'll see how they do. My giant ground cherry plant, I ate a ground cherry this morning. I don't think it was actually ready. I was excited and I saw it. It was starting to turn kind of the yellowy color, and the paper probably wasn't as dried out as it was supposed to be, and I ate it and it tasted good. I liked it, but I don't think, based on the description I've seen of what the flavor is like, I don't think it was quite ready to be eaten. My enthusiasm got the best of me, but that happens sometimes. I did get a little bit, I hoed a little between the rows of corn. They need a bit more fine weeding, which is what I'm hoping to do after this. Here's 4 more okra. I thought I planted a ton of okra, and I'm sure as it gets going, it'll be plenty. But right now I feel like my kid could just eat every single okra that I produce before I even get a chance to cook it. So we'll see how it goes. My zinnias are doing awesome. They're producing tons of flowers. They're beautiful. I think my favorites are like the pinky and purple ones. I like the orange and yellow ones. They're a little bit of a shorter plant, and I kind of like how tall the pink ones are getting. And so I'm thinking for next year, I'll do just a massive amount of the pink zinnias right along the front here. Actually, maybe not even down there. Maybe down there I'll do the orange ones, and then down over here, sorry, I'm spinning you around. Down over here, maybe I'll do some of the orange ones, or the pink ones, because this is the area that I can see from my kitchen window when I'm washing dishes at the sink. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, I harvested a handful of beans this morning. Not sure what I'm going to do with them. I want to try dilly beans this year. Some of the beans were a little big. They might need to be cooked to be edible. But I might see if I can come up with a refrigerator pickled bean recipe to try. My kids apparently will eat just about any vegetable if it's been pickled. So we're going to go with that. That's really about it. Still harvesting zucchini. I picked 2 cucumbers today. I was going to try and hold off and wait because we have a party this weekend. I wanted to make like a cucumber salad. They were getting too big. They were going to start getting gross. So they had to be picked. So I guess I'll just have to eat them. Oh well. That's about it. I'm not going to go through and show you the whole other side of the garden because I feel like I show that all the time. I wanted to cover what I've been harvesting real well and what I've been doing with it, which right now, not a ton. I think I'm going to go through and freeze some of the zucchini. Oh, and I have a friend who's going to take some zucchini. I'll be glad to give her some zucchini. That's about it. Just waiting for these tomatoes. Come on, tomatoes. And that's what we've got. So thank you for watching.